Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the
Hello.
Coach's Corner, where we help you get to your next level. I am
Absolutely.
Coach Hadassah, and here with me, the lovely Coach Cotton. Hey, Coach Cotton Gloves.
Hey everyone, how y'all doing? Y'all know I'm tagging a friend, telling a friend, so that's why my head down. I'm in my phone. But hi y'all, welcome to the Coach's Corner.
Yes. So look, today we have I think we have a great show and title
Yes.
for you about financial wellness. We are in this season, we're in this season of financial wellness, health, just wellness in general. And
Yes.
health and wealth does go hand in hand because here's the thing about it. Most people health suffer because of because their finances aren't together or don't have it
Absolutely.
or whatever, and then they end up stressed about money. Stress lowers your immune system. It opens you up to all sickness, illness, disease, debilitating conditions.
Yes.
Then your health start going right. So health and wealth definitely goes hand in hand. Another thing is when you do want to get your health in order and you want to start eating healthy, you want to start working out, things like that, have better food choices. And it's not so much that healthy food is expensive, it's really not. But you do need money in order
Right.
to change those things out, change those your food. um you don't necessarily have to have a gym membership in order to exercise, but sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you might just need that push. You might need to just get started or something, and maybe you need a personal trainer, maybe you need a coach, maybe you need those things just to help you to get started. And of course, they cost money. And so
Right.
you have to have your finances in order for you to even be able to do that. So you see how health and wealth definitely goes hand in hand. So that's what we're talking about in this season. In
Absolutely.
particular, though, financial wellness today. So, Coach, I know you and I, when we come up with our topics and we have our discussions and we go about our bullet points and things like that. You know what when we were coming up with this topic and everything, what is it that you would say that is uh that thing? I just talked about it for me with health and wealth going hand in
Right.
hand together, but those issues and those problems that you would see as far as financial wellness is concerned with people.
I mean, I 100% agree with you, Coach. You kind of hit the nail on the head. Most financial problems or situations come from health, people not being healthy, people not being in balance, people not being able to manage. So I think that's part of the wellness. And then it starts to affect the physical stress, headaches, cancer, all these things begin to come up because of finances, but it ties into your well-being like you stated earlier. And so what we're going to do today, just help people try to rectify that problem. Like, let's find out the root cause so we can get past that. Let's find out what's causing the financial wellness issue. And then let's figure out why, and then of course some how-to steps to combat this. So yeah, so with me, yeah, definitely. Anytime I'm feeling stressed, I'm getting aches and pains, I'm just not feeling my best, it's because I'm facing some type of financial issue all the time. Well, most of the times I would say, because I'm going, okay, where did I go wrong with my money? And let's just put it where the rubber meets the road. It's your money. I mismanaged something, or I didn't have enough, I didn't earn enough. So now I begin to become anxious. You get stressed out, you get irritable easily. And then all these things begin to apply pressure on you that if you were being able to handle it better, you will be well. This
Mhm.
will overall impact and benefit you in your health. And then of course your wealth now becomes your health. So you're
Mhm.
right. You hit it on the head. You hit it on the head. And so, leading into that, coach, for tonight, let's talk about what is the problem. So, as stated, financial wellness, financial well-being that also connects to your health. So, what could be some of those things? It can be whatever you're requesting. Are you ready for what you're asking for? Are
Yes.
you ready to make $1 million? No, you're not. You haven't prepared for $1 million. Are you ready to have a husband or a wife? No, are you preparing for a husband or a wife? Are you ready for a family, children? Are you preparing for that? You know what I'm saying? So these things, these questions come up. Your faith. Have you taken the necessary steps to really come connected with your supreme being, your heavenly father? What are you doing that's causing the financial wellness problem? And then
Mm-hmm.
so coach, so we can talk about that a little bit. For me, everyone knows it's no big secret. I can check off most of the boxes. However, I'm still lacking in some things. I want the husband, I want the children, and that's my cry. That's my prayer every night. God's probably like, I know your prayer. I heard you. Just hang tight. You're not ready yet, little girl, right? So we're praying for these things. I'm praying for a husband. I'm praying for a family. But am I really preparing myself for that? Am I preparing my financial situation for that? Am I preparing my home, coach? Like we was talking earlier, and you just poured into me. You guys, y'all know when me and coach got on the phone, she coached me for like 2 hours. So, so she
It took me
brings
2 hours,
me
but I don't even realize it. I'm like, I'm just sitting there talking, and Coach be taking notes, and I'm like, "You taking notes?" She was like, "Girl,"
all day. All day. I'm like, girl, I'm
And then
not
she goes,
gonna
matter
not
of
be
fact, I got
prepared
our topic for the coaches corner too. I took notes for that. I was like,
all day.
"Oh
Look,
gosh."
note takers are the money makers, baby. But look, you will not catch me without a pen and a steno pad or something. So when coach is talking, I'm writing. I'm like, what you say? Sure, yep, absolutely. So she did. She coached me for about 2 hours, saying, did you prepare for your home for the husband? Do you know how to do simple things? How to cook? Are you ready to join with somebody? And we talked about this, I want to say last week, coach, about the taxes. Normally when you're married, you file married filing jointly. And although I have been married before, and that relationship did end in divorce, however, I'm ready for it again, but I haven't received it. So the next question is, are you ready to even receive that? You know what I'm saying, coach? And so we got to make sure that we're in a situation, or we're in a frame of mind mentally, physically, spiritually, to identify what the problem is for whatever we're asking for. If we're doing the necessary things we need to do to prepare for those gifts, to prepare for whatever God has coming to us, coach, you can elaborate. Because you gave me all the sauce today.
Oh. But that part, I mean, woo. Okay, we don't have 2 hours, y'all.
Right.
So I'm gonna try to I'm gonna try to hit some bullet points with this, but that's the thing about it. What is health? Well, I mean, whatever it is, but because again, we're talking about financial wellness, and things like that. And here's the thing about it: our partnerships, the people that we choose, the partner that we choose for marriage, our spouses that we choose, it is our finances are going to have a direct impact, right?
Yes.
A direct impact because of that. And so, whatever it is that we're asking for, in our prayers, because I mean, I'm a true believer, and I know that Coach Cotton is a firm and true believer too, that you want to start all things off in prayer.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You want to ask for these things in prayer, right? And so, and then there's two parts to that. There's prayer and meditation, but I don't want to get ahead of myself because we got some how tos and some steps at the end.
Right.
But the thing is, a lot of times, we desire something, we want something, but we don't prepare for it.
Right.
It's like, say, children. Okay, perfect example. Children. They want something. They see it. They think they want it. Now, think about what I just said. They see it and they think they want it.
Right.
Right. But let's say if my son right now, he's 14. He's 14. He's 14 right now. Well, in the state that we live in, he can't get his driver's license until he's 16. But if we live down south somewhere, he could actually get his driver's license at 14. So there's different,
Mm-hmm.
laws and everything. Okay. But because we do live here, you have to be 16. He's not ready yet. So
Right.
he's not legally ready. And he's not even prepared for it, because in that preparation, like he has to learn about the road and driving and all of that type of stuff. He had to take the test. He had to go out on the road with somebody who was qualified in order to take him out on the road, in order to
Right.
practice and all of that stuff, right? And when he completes those courses in driver safety and all of those things, don't drink and drive, all of that. And then, although he might have taken the courses and got on the road and everything, is he responsible?
Right.
Right? That's the biggest thing. Is he responsible? Your ability to respond, and to respond quickly to said thing. Does he know how to
Right.
take care of a car? Um, if he using his parents' car, which would be, my car or his dad's car, or if we purchased him a car, is he responsible enough to handle a car? My car. Is he gonna pay attention while he's driving? Is he gonna
Right.
put gas in it? Look, is he gonna wash it? Is he gonna keep it clean?
Right.
All of those things, that's a part of responsibility. To care for something is a part of responsibility. And so
Absolutely.
if you don't care for it, if you don't keep it, if you don't prepare yourself for it, then why are you asking for it?
You're
Why are
right.
you asking
You're
for it,
right.
right? Because this is scripture. I don't know exactly where it's at, but ask and it shall be given you. Right? So let's say that again.
Absolutely.
Ask and it shall be given you.
Yes.
It can't do anything on its own or by itself, right?
Period. It has
It
no life.
doesn't have any life, but
Mm-hmm.
you have life. You have a
Mm-hmm.
mind, you have a soul, you have movement. You are the one that have life, right?
Yes.
And so it will be given, or you will be given it, or it will be given you. So you have to be the one to take care of it. It's just not going to
Right.
do it on its own, right? You are the one that has to do that. And so again, are you prepared?
Mm-hmm.
Did you prepare for what it is that you're asking for? And a lot of times people are asking for husbands, they asking for wives, they asking for children, they're asking for money, they're asking for
Mm-hmm.
all of these things and have not prepared for it.
Period.
Because there's the good, bad, ugly, indifferent, and you have to be able to handle all of everything that comes along with what you're asking for.
Absolutely. And
So
that goes into the why, coach. That's a good segue into the why. So we dealt with the what, and now it's the why, and ended on the note that you just said. You haven't planned for it. So if you want financial wellness, and we're talking about specifically now currency, and you're saying I want to be wealthy, I want to be a millionaire or whatever your desire is. If you have not sat down and done any financial planning, if you can't manage your budget, if you can't manage your paycheck, if you can't manage your grocery bill, why would you even think that God is going to bless you with $1 million when you can't handle the $300 you get every 2 weeks? Like, it just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So like, we got to do things that make sense. We got to do things that match, that qualifies us, that validates us for all these major and grand blessings that we are requesting. We can ask all day, but if we're not doing anything to prepare ourselves, that's like dead faith, coach. Like,
it
how
is.
can you have dead faith? This
Dead.
says faith without works is dead. So
Yeah.
if you're not putting any action behind what you're requesting, so if I want a husband, okay, how are you preparing now for this husband? How are you preparing for this family? Can you even maintain yourself? Are you okay with you before you go and try to bring someone else into this situation? Like, let's be real.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
that part.
Like, can you right? Can you maintain the peanut butter and jelly?
Can you stand to be by yourself and with yourself, girl? I remember that. Look, there was a time where I got on my own nerves. I did.
100%.
Look, transparency. I got on my own nerves. Thank goodness that was in, back in my 20s, in my early 20s or so. And then one day I woke up about 24 or so, and it was like, you know what? Let me get this. Let me have, my own peace. And you know what I'm saying? You comfortable and loving on you and all of that kind of stuff. And just enjoy your own company. And then maybe somebody else can stand to be around you.
Right. Like let me just say this for the record. If you don't like you, don't expect for me to like you. Like, no, it don't work like that. Like, you need to like you first. Don't be bringing somebody else into your unhappy, toxic, abuse to yourself, into your situation.
Toxic, unhappy, and broke.
I don't want to be a part of it. Like, I can't even make those type of friends. So you gotta be able to get to know you first. And again, you got to be able to manage your own finances before now you bring in somebody else. You can't be asking for $1 million or $1,000 and you can't, again, manage the paycheck you get before you even sit down and budget, before you can get with a financial advisor, someone who's going to help you, train you. There's no planning or strategy involved. You have to be the one to do that. So that's your why. Or again, if you want marriage, are you okay with you? If you want children, can you even send your nieces and nephews? Sometimes I be telling my nieces and nephews, you know what, maybe that's why I ain't got kids yet, because I about want to put y'all outside the door. I just got to be real with myself. So you know what, that's why he ain't gave to me. I'm not emotionally mature for children right now because I won't give them children away. Like today, like, but that's a real moment because I'm like, that's full time. If God bless me with kids, that's what I'm praying for. Those kids are with me indefinitely, right? So I can't go pass them off to nobody else.
And look, I'm gonna tell you this: I don't care how good of a grandmama or granddaddy or whatever they got, they are still 100% yours. And if grandmama and granddaddy do not feel like being bothered, guess what? They don't have to. They done raised their kids already.
Period. And honey, Mama Cotton will tell you in a heartbeat, she don't disappoint my brother them so bad. Not today. I got a life. Girl, you 66. What did you do? My brother, look, what's happening?
She got a life. You know why? Because she raised her children.
Facts. Facts. And even with your faith journey, if you're desiring to increase your prayer life, if you're desiring to get to know your Heavenly Father more, there's work you have to do. Are you reading scriptures? Are you spending time? Like Coach said, we don't want to jump to our how-tos quickly, but are you praying? Are you meditating on the word? Like, what are you doing to rectify your problem? What are you doing to prepare? What are you doing? Like I said, I love to use the word validate because there is some requirements that you have to do. There is something that needs to validate you to qualify you for some things. You just can't go walk on somebody's job if you don't have an associate's or a bachelor's degree, if you ain't had this experience, as they say, equivalent 5 years experience on this job. There's a prerequisite. Right. So now what are you contributing? What are you bringing? While you asking for all this stuff, what are you preparing for? Are you preparing for all the things that you want? And are you sure that you really want these things? It sounds good, but when it's a reality, it may not have been the best decision. So, especially if you receive it prematurely. My mama says it's a lot about people winning the lottery. Most cases, not all, but most cases, they win this huge lump sum of money, and in 2-3 months, 6 months, broke as a joke or in debt.
Within about 2 to 3 years, it's gone. They don't have
Why is that, Coach? Why? That doesn't even make sense. If you win in $3, $4, $5 million, and after the government take their taxes out, you still left with a good meal. Why are you broke in 2 years?
And the reason why, again, there was no preparation. And in that preparation with finances, there's, first of all, okay, so we done been to school. At least everybody has done 12 years, right? Because that's high school, okay? And then you have another either 2 or 4,
right,
or 6, or 8, if you PhD status or whatever, or if you just a professional student,
Yes.
you get the research fellow and stuff like that, but everybody's has had at least, 12 to 14 years
Right.
of education. And none of the time you learned about money. Even accountants, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who have, in financial arenas and dealing with money and everything, that don't know about money. And that's
Period.
because all of those 12 to 14 years, 16, 18, or whatever that we've been in school, there was no financial education. And
Right.
so we have to be the ones that's accountable for that, and we have to get out here and learn. And that's the thing about it. And this is why, again, I want to get too ahead of myself, um,
Right.
about prayer. Because here's the thing about it. Like I was telling Coach earlier, I mean, since I was a child, I've always felt wealthy.
Right.
Now, listen to what I'm saying. I did not say I felt rich. I didn't say I felt like I was going to come into a lot of money. I felt wealthy. And I didn't know how it was going to come about. And especially in the situation that I was in, how I grew up, I didn't grow up I wasn't born to a wealthy family, but I felt that way. So continuing on in life, I'm still feeling this way, and it's getting
Right.
stronger and stronger as I at least like in my 20s. And I remember I was probably about 22, 23, somewhere around there. And I prayed. That's what I did. I started praying and I said, I feel wealthy. I really
Mm.
feel wealthy. But shoot, I was sitting up here robbing Peter to pay Paul, trying to figure out how to put some stuff together. Look, how can I turn a dollar into 50? I mean, how can I turn 15 cents into a dollar, or trying to
Right.
make a dollar out of 15 cents? Now I
Right.
know how to do it. I will say that. But but
Hello.
just trying to figure that out and how that would come about at that particular time.
Right.
And
Right.
again, in prayer, one of the first things that came to me was get your house in order. Clean
Mm.
your house. That's what I heard Spirit say to me. Clean your house. So we're going to get into that in the steps, and what that meant. And
Yes.
I did that. I knew what it meant metaphysically. And so I started doing that. And I said, just as a physical representation of that, I'm going to start at my house. I started in my bedroom and,
Mm-hmm.
little places and spaces and stuff like that, getting rid of stuff, moving it around, all of that kind of stuff. And then and things started shifting in my life.
Right.
And it
Right.
actually got worse before it got better, but it did start shifting. People started moving around. Um, and I won't necessarily say I was like falling out with people or whatever, but some people just disappeared. Some people
Mm-hmm.
just the end of the road in our relationships, all of that type of stuff. And then um one of the first opportunities that came to me as far as like financial opportunities was where I learned about home-based business taxes. Now
Wow.
that's the type of stuff that I'm talking about when I say get into your like prayer mode and things like that, and then things will start opening up and
Mm-hmm.
you'll be attracted to certain things that's going to lead the way. So I was led to find opportunities where I could learn about finances. I was led to books like Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. The particular opportunity that I was in at that time, where I was learning about taxes and home-based business taxes and how you save your money, how to save
Right.
money on taxes in order to take that money to invest in your business, and then allow that to grow and then start accumulating assets, right?
Right.
And
Right.
so in that particular opportunity, that's when we learned about, or I learned about Robert Kiyosaki, because we were going to have a segment on the Oprah show, and Robert Kiyosaki was on that show. on the Oprah show when she was still on, I don't know if it was NBC, ABC, whichever one of those channels she was on and stuff. And so that made me go out to the bookstore and get the book. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I was looking for Rich Dad Poor Dad, but then I saw Rich Kid Smart Kid, and I actually bought that book first because I was
Mm.
like, oh, I could read this to my children. And
Right.
I didn't even realize that I was applying a biblical principles, biblical principles of, like leave an inheritance to your children's children. And then also
Right.
in Deuteronomy, when he talk about, teach your children, when you rise up, when you fall asleep, when you're walking by the wayside, when you're sitting down with you. I'm like, that's all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. Because everybody, children learn through repetition. We all learn through repetition. So whether it's directly or indirectly from us being around in certain environments and everything, we are picking up and learning from the environment. We're learning from, what people are saying, doing, whether they're teaching us directly or we're learning or they're teaching us through their body language or their behavior.
Yes.
We are
Yes.
learning. And so I found myself in an environment of what? Other wealthy people, right? Because if I'm sitting up here saying, like, man, I feel wealthy, but how is this gonna happen? How is this gonna manifest? How is it gonna exude? How is it gonna he had to shift everything and move me into the environment where I can
Right.
learn about these specific, things. But again, that was the preparation for the wealth to where now today where I'm learning a skill set where I can make however much money I feel like I want to make or whatever, but not be
Right.
greedy. I've developed the discipline because look, I've had money come and go. Big money, little money, this money, that money, this
Right.
whatever. And turn around, look, I ain't win a lottery, but I felt like the lottery winners. It's like I know why they don't have money. I know why
Right.
people have money and don't have money. The reason why, because now you got a lot of money with the same financial habits, with the
Yeah.
same bad habits.
Woo.
If you couldn't
Uncle, I
manage,
gotta stop you because you finna jump. You got let me pause you, pause you, pause you, pause you, pause you. I gotta put cut your pause. So she already hit the how to number one, which was prayer and meditation. So before you jump into the habits, coach,
mhm.
let's go. That's number two. So you
Look,
already
I done
hit.
went into the steps and I ain't even
Well,
realized.
that's fine. You right on time. You are right on time. Don't you even worry. You're right on time with the steps. So the first step I posted is how to prayer and meditation. So that was developing your prayer life. Also meditating on what you need to do and getting in tune with the Holy Spirit and things that your supreme being and things like that. So that was step one. And when you begin to do that, that's when you heard get my house in order, start with my own home. And that's in the physical. And
Yeah.
also it can be in the spiritual. That definitely can go both ways. Spiritually getting your house in order and physically getting your house in order. I always say this because I aspire to own my own home. I'm not a homeowner yet. I still rent in an apartment. And my thing is like, though I desire to have a home, da da da. Like I said, y'all know I got a lot of prayers up before God. Um, and the husband thing, but see, again, those are some steps that I have to make sure that I'm prepared for. Can I keep my apartment tidy? Can I create the environment where I can maintain, sustain, manage, my apartment, all the bills that come with that, all the responsibility that comes with that? So yeah, getting your house in order, coach, I think it has to be number one. The prayer and meditation has to be number one. And for him to speak to you and for us to give that to y'all, like it has to start. And again, it can be spiritual, it can be physical with you getting your house in order. But you would never know to do that if you have not developed that prayer life or that meditation. What is the meditation, coach? Can you explain in a little bit more detail about that before we jump to number two?
Yes. So the prayer and meditation, like starting with okay, the how to, like coach said, step one, starting with prayer and meditation. Now, I was just explaining this to my son yesterday because, he was like, I you know, he's like, I know, you taught us in homeschool about praying and how to pray and things like that because we always opened up with a homeschool with moderation and prayer. And so but I remember having that same question too, like, well, how do I really pray? And how do I pray? Well, it came to me and I shared with him um, that, first of all, the reason why we feel like we don't know how to pray and stuff like that is because we're still viewing our relationship to the Most High as a like a you know like a God and kind of like peasant relationship or whatever. And so it's like
Right,
you always
right,
seem like you coming in prayer not even feeling worthy, and it's not the fault of our own. It's really through how we've been taught this whole time. But when we say, I'm a child of God, I'm a child of God, I'm a child of God, I'm a child of Yahweh, I'm a child of Elohim, I'm a child of Allah, whatever name you use, um, you are saying, if you are a child of Elohim, then this is your parent.
mm-hmm.
This is our maker. It's the creator, and we are the created, right? And so this is a parent-child relationship.
Right.
So what relationship do you have with your parents? Right? I mean, some people don't have good relationships with their parents, or or strained, or maybe they feel like they can't talk to them or communicate with them, or whatever. But I just remember when I had that on my heart and mind, and that's what was given to me. Like, you talk to me like you would talk. If you like you used to ask your daddy for everything, didn't you? Know, I was like, yeah, I did. I mean,
Facts.
you know,
Facts.
like
Still do. I still do.
right, I go there, I talk to my daddy, and I'm sitting down with him, and sitting on his lap, and feeling the little, because my daddy had this little burn from his job. He had a burn on the back of his hand. So I don't know, me and my sister, we did it differently. She would do something else, and I'd be playing with the little burn on the back of his hand and everything, just sitting there chilling with him or whatever, and talking to him. And he and he'll sit there looking at me for a while, but he already know what's coming next.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You want? What you
Baby,
want?
what you want? She gonna sit here and spend some time with me first, but you want something in the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and of course, it was always like, can I have $1 so I could go buy me some candy? And it's like, all right, get a little dollar or whatever. But but if I needed something, then it was like, Daddy, I need such and such and so and so for this and the other. All right, okay, we go get it. Okay, oh, Daddy, I want this toy or whatever. And if it was reasonable, okay, he could get it. If it was something that he knew that I was just asking because my friend had it, he wasn't going.
Right.
And so when I think about that, that's the same way that I view my relationship with my Heavenly Father.
Right.
If I'm asking for something in prayer because, okay, this is, the Joneses or whatever, I'm already knowing, nah, that ain't happening.
It's not happening.
Right, it's not happening. But if it's from my heart, and it's something that's in His will, and it's something that is not going to be harmful to me, but it's not only just for me, other people can benefit from it too, then yeah, it's going to be answered. But at the same time, in that prayer, when I'm asking, okay, now prayer, that means to talk. Meditation, listen.
Right.
That's what that is. Meditation, listen.
Amen.
If you look up the word meditation
that.
or meditate in the scriptures, meditate and meditation is in the scriptures. And every scripture that I looked at that talked about meditation or meditate, it's meditating on something. I meditate on your word. I meditate on your goodness. I meditate on the nature, because you made this magnificent, and this is this, that, and the other. You meditating on something. And so that means that you're going into remembrance about, look, His word. Do your parents speak to you? I mean, you know what I'm saying, like that. So meditating on His word, what's in His will for you, right? For you to have live life and live abundantly, for you to prosper and be successful. But also with that prospering and being successful and and those things, that's the desires of your heart, there's also a part that you have to participate and play in. It's called obedience and faith and trust.
Yes.
You ain't getting nothing without it. Right? So that's the prayer and the meditation. Speak, but then listen.
Absolutely.
Because then you'll know what to do next. All right.
Oh, Coach, that was awesome. I hope y'all got your notepads out. So number two, Coach, you had touched on, you was getting ready to go right into it, and I had to put you on pause real quick because I wanted to make sure we got a clarification, clear understanding of prayer and meditation. So now, environment, that's number two. And I just put, some examples: healthy habits, mind, home, bank account. Are you ready to receive the opportunity for more? Coach, I almost think that one exceeds everything else, because if you're not even ready to receive the opportunity, we're just talking about the opportunity for more, then your environment is not conducive to what you're asking for.
To what you're asking
Your
for.
your
Yeah.
environment is not beneficial to what you're requesting. So we got to be mindful of, we want all these things here again, but what does our environment look like? Do we have healthy habits? And go ahead, Coach, and elaborate more on that.
Yeah. So that now this right here, baby, listen. I mean, this one right here. Hmm. Some people can't get past step two, like for
Mm-hmm.
real. Um, and these things that we're touching on and talking on, it's not just, this is not something that's just being said. This is something that's actually been applied, and I saw how it worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that prayer and meditation, when I, just my, example of when it happened to me, um, I was told, look, in the meditation part, I got clean your house.
Right.
That's what I got. Clean your house. And I'm like, what they got to do with anything? you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then light bulb came on. I'm like, oh, I get it. Clean your house. I'm like, first of all, you're talking about me, right? Like
Right.
the environment of my house, like my mind, my body,
Mm-hmm.
my spirit,
Yes.
right? Like this is a whole environment right here.
All
And
day.
then me, I'm in an environment. The environment that I'm in and that I rest in and that I do things in is my home. So then I have
Right.
to get my home environment in order. And then when I get me a reflection of having my me in order is the reflection of where I dwell, right?
Right.
And so it took me, and this was back then. It was 3 days where I did that. And I was like, okay, I said the reflection of me getting myself in order is going to show up in how I get my house and apartment or whatever that I was in at that time in order. And when I tell you, it took me 3 days. I did it by myself. And man, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't leave a stone unturned because
Right.
that's how I felt. I'm like, whatever I leave undone will be the thing that I leave undone within myself, right?
You're
And
right. You can't
so,
start wrong and end up right, Coach. You got to do it right from the beginning.
right, that part. You cannot start off wrong and end up right. And you can't do no half job. I'm gonna say
Right.
that.
You can't halfway clean your house. You can't.
Right, you
You
can't
got to
halfway do
100% clean the house.
right. And so and but that put me in a mind frame of Abram or Abraham. That's what happened when he prayed and things like that. And Elohim dealt with him and said, hey, I'm get out of this environment, because he
Mm-hmm.
had to get out of that environment, because the environment that he was in was not conducive to the blessings that was going to be poured out on him. And first of
Right.
all, let me say this, because I was talking about this yesterday with my son. First of all, right, your inheritance and your wealth is your spouse and your children, especially men. Okay, it is the wife you choose and your children. That is your inheritance. That
Yes.
is your wealth. It comes from you. It
Wow.
has life, it has spirit, it has all of that. When you look at property or inheritance in the scriptures, it don't say nothing about money.
Right.
It's sons, daughters, servants or slaves, cattle, um Wives, that's your inheritance in your property. Now,
Mm.
just because it's your inheritance in your property doesn't mean that you have the right to abuse it, because you do not.
Right.
You don't. He told Adam to dress and to keep the garden. After he finished everything, he gave it to Adam as an inheritance and told him to dress it and to keep it.
Wow.
Right? So your property, the spouses that you have, the wife that the wife, the husband, the children, you don't mistreat it, misuse it, or abuse it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You
Right.
will get dealt with when you do stuff like that.
Right.
But it puts me in a mind frame of like, how there's a strategic thing that is happening in order to tear apart families, because that is tearing down the wealth of the family. Yahweh
Right.
said that he will bless the families of the earth. So come on, like for real, for real.
Right.
And so even when you're in divorce court and all of that kind of stuff, it costs a lot of money. And what? You're dividing the spoils. And when they calculate and look at the assets and everything, guess what goes on that list first? Children. Children are an asset. They're your assets. Now you got to sell the home, the cars, and divide the pensions and all of that kind of stuff. And all of that just eating at your wealth, eating at your wealth, eating at your wealth.
Right. Wow.
So people wonder, I ain't got no money. That's why.
Right.
Your wealth is really not your money. That's just an extension of it. Right? And so it's like, come on, it's deep. We got to get it together. And so the environment of our minds, that's number one. The environment of our minds, the environment of our hearts, we got to clean that up.
Yes.
So that we can even hear clearly to know, okay, do we stay in a particular place and then everything else is removed out the way? Or maybe we got to get out of that environment and go to a different environment where, guess what? There's more wealthy people. Because what do they say?
That part.
That your what does it say? Like your net worth is like, okay, your net worth is your net worth. Like we hear that all the time. But it's like the at least the 5 people that you surround yourself with, that if you do like an average of the income or whatever, then y'all pretty much got the same income or whatever. So it's like, it's more than just the income, but it's the mindset.
Right, it's a mentality. Look, I heard like this: if you got 9 broke friends, I promise you're number 10. That's how I heard it. That's how I heard it. Look, let me just be honest.
If you got 9 broke friends,
if you got 9 broke people, you're 10.
10, right? So, but if you have 9 wealthy friends, then you're number 10.
You're number 10.
So it's like, because here's the thing about it: wealthy people live and operate on biblical principles. And a lot of times they haven't even cracked open the book. They just do it naturally because it was principles that they were taught. But if you read the scriptures, you'll see that, because I read the scriptures, so I know. And so when I look at the principles that wealthy people live by and operate in, I'm like, this is biblical, this is scriptural. No wonder why they're wealthy, because the biblical principles are going to work. They're going to work. Period, point blank, the end. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you step foot in church. I don't care if you don't. If you're operating in those principles, they are going to work. So you have to be in an environment, surrounded by people that have that same mindset, because that's just the thing about it. It's everything is energy. Everything is energy. I know a lot of people with money that's just nasty and got funky attitudes. I don't want to be around them people.
Period.
I don't. Right? It's like, I don't care how much money you got. You crazy. Get away from me. Right?
But you're right, Coach, because it is about your environment. And if you become comfortable in a negative environment, you will become negative. You'll become the one with that cap on, what you can do. You'll set the boundaries for yourself. Now you're bringing in limitations. So we always say to a lot, you got to become uncomfortable If you're finding yourself not growing, if you're being stagnant and stifled, it's most likely the environment that you're in. If you're
Yep.
not around kingdom-minded, like-minded, like-spirited people, you're gonna be in a situation to where you will not see growth. You will not experience change. So you have to be willing, right? That faith in action to make yourself uncomfortable, to step outside of the box, to get outside of your comfort zone and get around some people. You know, I used to term friend up. Friend up, you know, doing
Yes.
scared. You need to go around the people who are actively doing what you want to do. If you can see their development, if you can see their wealth and see how they're operating business, and you say to yourself, this is what I want to do. Go network with these people, meet these people, get into those circles. That way you can start to see yourself change. Change doesn't change until you change. And if your environment, I'm just going to be real, you know, I know a lot of people don't like this term ratchet, but I'm going to be a little ratchet. If your environment is trash, get out of that trashy environment.
Yep.
You better go around some people who are making change, people who are thriving, those who are flourishing, those who are applying the proper knowledge, the right principles. And if you know that's where you want to go, and the only way you're going to get there, if you come out of the group that you've been with that's not doing anything and get with the right group of people, find your tribe, find your connects. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to change your environment, and it starts in your mentality. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. It didn't say by your old mind. No, you got to have a renewed mind. This is when transformation happens.
Look,
you know, not to be all preachy, but it's just the truth. Say that again,
right.
Coach.
I said repurpose, renew, and restore.
Okay. And then first of all, she say it. You jump up the whole name every time. Look, y'all coaches gonna jump up, scramble up their name. 100%. I live.
I'm like, look.
Between you and my mama, just say R3. I'll be sure.
Just
Which one comes first? Renew, repurpose, restore. Well, if you repurpose, renew.
Let me write that down. Renew, repurpose. Because I'm like, repurpose, renew, and restore. Hey, finger snap.
That's your mama. I never know which one comes first. But all of them are needed. I just like, just
a bunch of R's.
Which, Coach, on to your point, takes us to the third how-to, which is, let me post it, do the work daily. Like, period.
Listen.
Coach, you got to do the work daily, and this is all your lane because you have definitely demonstrated from the trading to the family to the husband to getting ready to build a home, buy land. Consistency equals harmony. Coach, break that down.
Yes.
Please. Please,
okay.
Please help us out. We got about 10 more minutes, y'all, and I know we've been going over about 30 minutes, but in the 2022, we just got to give it to y'all how it comes to us. So we're not clock watching right now because we want to make sure you have what you need and you are equipped to change and to improve, to go to your next level.
Next level, yes. And so 3, with doing the work, right? Do the work daily, right?
Right.
Everybody get up. I mean, if you work for somebody else, if you work for a company, if you work for yourself, you know, if you could be a stay-at-home mom working in your home. That's work that don't never end. And so, you know, everybody doing some daily work, right? And so when you're committed to changing your life, when you're committed to the transformation, when you're committed to these things, then you have to be committed to doing the work that will, you know, lead you to that, where you can look back and be like, oh man, you know, and you keep going. So doing that consistent work of these things, if it's we talking about just really everything in general, but your finances, then guess what? You got to do the daily work of that. Number one, if you found the opportunity for you that's going to help you to increase, you know, your income and things like that, then okay, of course, you got to do that daily, right? You do that daily work. Okay, so now, then when you have that, what's that? Do you have a budget plan? What is that like? Because again, if you do not have a budget and you're making a whole lot of money, you'll spend a whole lot of money too. I was talking to a coach about this
That
earlier,
part.
right? That look, I done had a lot of money come through my hands. We done had a lot of money come through our hands, but we was doing the same thing, and then next thing you know, we ain't got that money no more. So this
Right.
particular time, like, and I understand, like, it used to really bother me at that time, but now I can look back at it and be like, you know what, those things had to happen so that coming into this part of the opportunity that I have, or what I'm doing now, I know what not to do, right? I know what
Right.
to do and I know what not to do. And number one is, um and not that I'm trying to, like, be a pauper or anything like that, but we've been maintaining and sustaining and everything like that. I mean, we ain't hurting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
my household, my family, we're not hurting at all
Right.
whatsoever, right? Um, and so just because I'm making the profits that I'm making with my trading, that don't mean take all of that out and spend that either.
Mm-mm. Save and
Uh-uh.
reserve. Save and
Exactly.
reserve.
Exactly. I mean, I'm so glad that, I mean, it's not that it takes a lot to do some transfers or whatever, but because I know and understand a lot of things as far as how money is moved, taxes, all that kind of stuff. That's number one reason why I don't move it. But then two is, I'm there. I have a plan, and I have to follow that plan. And you know what that plan does? It equips me to be disciplined. As
Right.
much as I'm sitting up here looking at, it's like the discipline comes in with the self-control, right? The delayed
Mm-hmm.
gratification, and the discipline comes in where I just still operate the way we've been operating,
Right.
right?
Right.
We've been managing and getting by and doing what we did, and have the ability to go out and do things that we want to do, anyway. Why try to make that different, or the lifestyle different right now? We
Right.
okay, right? And so that takes discipline. That's a daily work. Discipline
Absolutely.
is a daily work, right?
Yes.
um if you was trying to lose weight or gain weight, work out, whatever it is, guess what, you're gonna have some habits that change. You're gonna have to
Yes.
develop the new habits, and guess what, it's gonna take discipline in order for
Mm-hmm.
you to do the daily work. and so
Absolutely.
and so doing the daily work with the consistency, like Coach Cotton said, consistency, it doesn't just mean showing up every day.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency means harmony. Look up the word in the dictionary, in the etymology dictionary as well. And I would say go to, like, Google this. The I think it's the 1828 um Webster's American, or American Webster's Dictionary. I mean, and the reason why I say that is because a lot of the books after the 1900s, especially after the 1930s, they've been changed, contaminated, all kinds of stuff. So we always reference back to, like, reference books and stuff like that in the
Right.
1800s. So it's the 1828 American Webster's Dictionary. Look up that word consistency in there,
Mm-hmm.
and look it up in the etymology. But it boils down to consistency, meaning it means harmony. So, is what you doing, your behavior, your conduct, and your
Mm-hmm.
actions in harmony with the
Right.
things that you say that you want, that you pray for, that you ask for? Is it in harmony? Because if it's not, stop lying to yourself.
Mic drop. Right.
That's it. You don't want it. You don't. Right? So doing the daily work consistently means to do the daily work and have a behavior and everything that's in harmony with what you want.
Right. And you don't have
And
to overcomplicate that, coach. That's
yeah,
really simple. But you know what? It becomes so challenging because I'm going to go back to another word you use. We don't have the discipline. And this the lack of discipline can be destructive to your life and your livelihood. If you don't learn to develop some form of discipline, things are always going to be in disharmony. It's going to always be inconsistent because now you have no self control. You have no ruler over your flesh, over your own personal opinions and decisions. There has to be something that reigns supreme over just you doing what you want to do all the time. I love when the Bible say, I think it was Paul, he said, I crucify this flesh daily, because that's how bad it can be.
Word. Because if you don't, that old boy or that old girl will come back up
and have you looking like a whole duck, coach. Look, I only can say it because I've been the duck.
I posted today. It's like the old me be arguing with the new me on hand-to-hand situation.
100%. Look, and I'm like, right, coach. We be having a whole out disagreement. It's like because that flesh, that lack of discipline or that self-control, and you gotta find it. Like, if that's all you study for this week, the rest of the week, self-control, that discipline, working on being consistent. And again, like Coach explained, the definition to be in harmony. Like, you gotta find that. So look, that's homework. We don't normally give out homework, but for just this week, just work on self-control. Self-control.
And you know what? And I'm putting this in the chat, and I hope I have them all. But there are that being in the image and likeness of Elohim actually means to be in the image and likeness of his characteristics.
Absolutely. And self-control, we do know that's one of the fruits.
And the thing is, there are, 9 is the number of completion. Because all you got to do is look at it, right? From 0 to 9, and then it starts over again with one and zeros, right? Like 10, 11, 12, all the way to 19, and then 2, 0, all the way, right? So 9. Look, 40 weeks is 9 months. What happens in 9 months? Baby is born. That's complete. We have 9 planets in the solar system. We have 9 vital organs that operate, right? We have, so that number 9, we have 9 fruits of the spirit.
Right.
But then Yahweh Elohim has 9 divine attributes: wisdom, intelligence, knowledge, love, beauty, justice, foundation, power, and strength. We are to be in those characteristics. And when we are in those characteristics, then we develop the fruit of the spirit, and we actually develop that fruit in order.
Yes.
Now, where are those 9 fruits of the spirit? Like, I was typing it out in here, but if you go to Galatians chapter 5, starting at 22, it shows them. They're there. And let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Let's see. Humility. And this temperance means self-control. Right. And so I'm gonna put it up here. Okay. So the reason why I put this up here is because, right? So these are 9 fruits of the spirit that, we say you should know, you will know them by their fruits, right? By their fruit. So this is what grows as a result of the prayer, the meditation, the cleaning up of your environment, you know what I'm saying? The consistency of the daily work being in harmony, right? Yes. Exemplifying those characteristics. The fruit is love, but we eat fruit, don't we? It grows and you eat it and you keep reproducing. It don't never run out. Love is a fruit. You can, not only do I have it, but I can share that with somebody else or other people. Joy is a fruit that I can share with other people. I have it and I can share it. Peace, I have it, I can share it. Long suffering or endurance. Long suffering means endurance. I have it and I can share that with other people Because look, when we go through some storms and stuff like that, what happens? You got to endure. Right. A lot of people, that's where they stop. That's where they stop right there. Endurance. Right. Oh, I can't stay. I can't endure this. No, that's something that you ain't supposed to endure. Now, I will say that. But for the most part, you know, like when you have a storm, this, that, and the other, like, okay, who are the people that's going to be around, and who are the people that jump ship as soon as something go, you know, hey, why they ain't in your corner, they ain't around, you get sick, you can't hear from nobody. As soon as everything get better, here they come.
Right. And that's why your environment is so important, because if you hanging around those chickens and they can't fly, you better get around some eagles who know how to fly above the storm. Above the storm. Help them and help you get through. Like, period.
Exactly. And then, you know, look, kindness, righteousness, faith, right? Faith means trust, humility. Yeah. Okay. Humility. And then the last one is self-control. The fruit develops in that order. And the last one, when you reach self-control, you've reached self-mastery.
Yes.
And that's how that operates. It actually develops in that order, in that way. Wow. And so hey, we have to get to that. If we want to experience true wealth within, and then that wealth starts to actually manifest in our lives, we got to develop this. And it has to be, these fruits of the spirit, that just shows that you are, consistent and in harmony with what it is that you're asking for. Because then when the creator gives it you can keep it. And then I'm gonna drop
love it. And you did. And we're gonna wrap it up right there. There ain't nothing else to be said behind that. I hope you all definitely enjoyed the Coach's Corner tonight. I know we was over our 30 minutes and we went about an hour, but I hope you were able to take notes. I hope you were able to understand. Listen, if you have any questions moving forward and you just like, Coach Hadassah, Coach Cotton, I need a little bit more help. We are both certified. We are both gifted with this talent and this education, this information to help you go the distance. Reach out. Don't allow you not making a self-investment to stop you from reaching out. Reach out to Coach Hadassah, metaphysician, wellness coach. If you need, early on in the podcast, we talked about unpacking some of those emotional things. She is a licensed emotional code physician. Look, coach, look, all of that. Look, now here, coach, here I go.
Right. That's why
I'm gonna call you some everything. Share everything. She's everything. But I'm just saying, don't allow that. Call us on the phone, talk to us, and just say, hey, where do I start? You got to take that first step. Again, you got to put your faith into action so you can get to your next level. Don't allow anyone or anybody to tell you that receiving some type of therapy, counseling, or coaching will not help you. They are a lie, and the truth is not in them. Get away from those chickens so you can get on your ego level, right? So this has been the Coach's Corner, you guys.
What they say, drop down and get your eagle on, girl. Remember that song?
I do. That was so good, though. I do. I'm in Georgia. I definitely remember that.
Girl, my kids about drove me crazy with that.
That is hilarious. So look, you guys, this has been the Coach's Corner. We are here each and every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. Central Standard Time and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We would love for you guys to subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on that platform. We also stream live on Facebook. Like, share, tag a friend, tell a friend. If you watch the replay, hit #replay in the comments so we can know that you saw the show. Spread the word on the Coach's Corner. This is where we help you get to your next level. Love you guys. See you guys next Tuesday.
Peace. Look, sister said peace.
Bye, sister.